Hey everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are going to do episode 7, the Beez,
Part
one of our 2023, I almost said 2023, 2022, playing through our whole collection. No, definitely not. The year's going fast enough without that. So we're going to get started. But before we do so, feel free to like and subscribe, please. And if you want to see more content, hit the bell icon.
Or follow us on our socials on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Meeple Society.
All right, let's go.
So let's get started.
Start with,
so we're starting with the Beez. So we're going to start off with Beez.
Seemed like an appropriate place to start, personally.
Yep. This one we actually have in both of our collections now.
Yes.
We got this as a gift.
Yeah, the first copy came as a gift from our son and his girlfriend for my birthday last month. And then we found a second copy on Facebook, on Facebook Marketplace for really inexpensive. So we grabbed it for the other collection because we really liked it. So in Beez, you are
a bee.
You're a bee, right? You are basically moving around the board by a certain number to collect nectar to gain points. I mean, it's basically what it is. At the bees, the components in this are fantastic. I just got to show these silly little bees. I'd always heard the components in this were great, but these are your player pieces. Okay,
that is so hard to get over.
It really is. But look at these player pieces, guys. These are gorgeous. So,
and it has the number, the spaces you can move on it.
So
there's no dice rolling.
Nope, there's no dice rolling. You situate your bee. You can never go in the same direction twice, but you situate your bee in basically the direction, the number you want to go. So if I situate my bee going this direction, I can go 2 to 4 spaces, 2 or 4 spaces. Exactly. Going that direction, I can go 3, 1 to 5. So you collect the the nectar off of the space that you land in, and then those go onto your 3D printed boards, and then you gain points based on your goal cards, basically.
And these are depending on how far you went on each space is where you have to put that piece of.
So if you moved 4 spots to gain this nectar off the board, then you have to put the piece of nectar in one of these spaces in the 4 to 5 spots. So,
and like I said, there's gold cards that you're doing. So you're wanting to place them on your hive in certain ways to get your gold cards, to score gold cards, and to be the best of everything. So
it was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. So I thought it was a very
simple game. Very
simple. Like I said, components are fabulous.
This is on the light end of our games.
Yes. So. But anyway, that was Beez. Literally Beez. Okay. Next.
So next, I'm going to get the odd-shaped game out of the way.
Okay.
This is Bananagrams. I never played Bananagrams until we played it for this.
Yeah, it was actually, I liked it.
It's Scrabble without a board.
It is Scrabble without a board. There's no scoring on the tiles. You literally put all the tiles. I think there's 144 tiles. Yeah, all the tiles down. Everybody takes a certain number of tiles based on your player count.
You flip them over and start making words.
And then it's all real time. Everybody is basically playing at the exact same time, but you're flipping your tiles over and making words out of the letters that you have. And then if you can always call, oh gosh, what did they call it?
That's why I was just trying to remember
okay, so one, if you can basically call out peel, and everybody takes one tile out of the bunch in the middle, including yourself. So if you need an extra tile, you can yell peel, and everybody has to take a tile whether they're out or not. It only matters if you're out.
I kept running out of tiles.
You can yell dump, and that means that only you, nobody else has to, can take one hard to place letter and put it back in the bunch, the pile in the middle of the table.
Take 3.
And take 3 out to add to your hand. which I mean gives you a little more
It
variability.
helps.
But none of the tiles are static. Once you've placed them, you can continue moving them around to make words.
And you don't get extra points if like, oh, I was able to use the Q or I was able to use the Z.
They literally, the winner is when there are no more tiles in the middle of the table, the first player to run out of tiles. That's who that person wins. Simple as that. So I thought it was an interesting take on a word game. And I do not necessarily enjoy Scrabble. I mean, I'll play it, but it's never been one I've pulled off the shelf myself to play. But this guy he was actually kind of fun. I don't know if it was just the speed component to it or what it was, but he was actually fun. This sits in the fundraiser collection. I found this guy at Goodwill several years ago for a couple bucks, and he'll stay there. Simple as that.
Cool.
All right.
Next, we have Backyard Builders Treehouse. Clash of Games.
This was another Goodwill find a few years ago. It actually sat in our collection for a little bit. Definitely a very light game. So it has since moved into the other collection to make space. But this one, it's basically a card game.
And you're drafting cards.
I always have trouble remembering how to open this box. There we go. This is the rule book. I mean, it's like nothing. Everybody starts off with a base.
Right there.
A base to their tree.
And they're all different, but they don't mean anything.
No.
Some have ladders, some have rope ladders, some have little rocks.
So everybody starts off with a base, and then the first player starts out with 4 cards in their hand. And let me get something with a little variety here. Here we go. Starts off with 4 cards in their hand. They're going to look at these cards. Now, one side shows colors and different numbers. Okay, make sure I grab something besides 2 2s. And the other side is just kind of a generic. Now, the way this plays is that anything can be placed on your base. You can, when you start building, the first player takes a card, draw, and then hands the rest of the cards to the next player, who draws another card to add to the hand. So they always have 4 to choose from. The trick is, so say I pick this card, well, then the next time comes around and say, this is my hand of cards. So I have a green 3 on top. I could, well,
you get one with a 3.
I can either choose one of these 3s to be on top. If this green happened to be on the bottom, that would work, but it's not. Or I can flip it over and use a generic 2.
That basically resets your.
It basically resets for the next round. Anything can connect to a generic, to a gray. Anything can connect to your base. And you're going to continue doing this. It's going to keep going in a circle, and the next player is always going to add 1 more card to their hand until everybody has 7 tiles or 7 cards. I'm sorry. And then you add up all the numbers, and that's the winner.
And whoever has the most,
whoever has the most is the winner. Right. And the tree topper, well, the tree topper is different.
Oh yeah, it's a
there are a number here. This is basically a goal, and everybody knows what the goal is in advance. And some of them are like my favorite color is the end of the game with the most floors of one color. So if you have the most purple or the most green, then you win and you get an extra 5 points. Or a crowd, and the game with the most 3-point floors in your treehouse. So there's a lot of variability. You literally play with one of these each round. Very short, very easy game. It is enjoyable for what it is. So it will stay in the other collection, in the travel collection. All right.
This next game up, I had never, ever heard of this game until we played it. As a matter of fact, on our MeWe group, it's a board game board that I'm on. We're doing a name that game. We put out little pieces of the game and see if anybody can name it. I put 2 pieces out. Nobody can name it. I put some of the pieces out on a board. Nobody's named it yet as of recording of this video.
Wow. Yeah, that's
but
the board.
This is Baffle.
Baffle, I love these pieces. Oh my gosh, look at these pieces, guys. They're acrylic. So, and they are gorgeous. I love the colors. I picked this one up again. This was a Goodwill find. It's actually been sitting in our my missing shelf for a while because I'm missing one piece. So I keep hoping I'll find another copy of this somewhere and be able to get that piece. So far, no luck. But the way this plays, it is primarily a solo game. And when you play solo, you use the cards, and this gives you your starting positions. The goal of the game is to be able to put out all of your pieces, kind of like a Sudoku puzzle, where you can't have the same color or the same color or same shape. Thank you. Both vertically and horizontally. So again, it's kind of like a Sudoku where nothing can match up or down, but same concept. You can play it multiplayer, where everything starts, you start off with all the red in a row, all the blue, all the green, etc. And you have to, one by one, move the pieces. You can swap two pieces that are next to each other to get your row, your target row, so that all the colors and all the shapes are different. So that's how you play multiplayer, which we did. Okay, that being said, I like the game. It was an interesting abstract strategy to me. Even multiplayer, even at 2-player, it was pretty interesting. 4-player would be a lot of pieces moving around.
Yes, be hard to win.
That being said, I've had this game for a couple of years. I have yet to find another copy of it. I can't find this yellow square I need. I could probably make one, but I don't know. At this point in time, I'm thinking we're going to basically scavenge this game, and I may put the pieces up on eBay for sale for somebody else who maybe is missing a piece. I don't know yet.
Is there more in one of these games?
Yes, because I can actually.
Never heard of it.
I found the full game for sale on eBay.
Okay.
But not pieces. And if I could find the yellow square, I would definitely keep it. But just because I love the pieces, if nothing else. But I can't. So at this point, this is going to be most likely scavenged for parts, unfortunately. All right. That is Baffle.
Okay. Next one. I'm gonna get this one out of the way now. This was pretty.
Oh my gosh.
This hurt playing. This is the Babysitters Club mystery game. I have no idea what the Babysitters Club is.
I remember the books when I was a kid. I never read them. I was more into the Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys stuff. I never even read the Bobbsey Twins, but I never read these. Okay, so this one is kind of like a take on Clue, sort of.
Kind of. Yeah.
You're basically solving the mystery.
Well, you're not really.
They're okay.
You already know who did it, where they did it, and what they used, but you're trying to find
the
descriptive clues that everybody. The one player knows two of the clues for, like, they know the descriptive clues for who did it.
Yeah. So everybody starts with one of these. This
and
person
you pulled out who did
is a who did it. Yeah. So at the beginning of the game, everybody already knows who did it. You've already marked, well, in this case, in our game, it was the delivery person. We forgot to erase the crayon marks. In our game, it was the delivery person did it. Okay, fine. The person who has the who dials has to choose. The delivery person was pushy and weird, or he was clumsy but pushy. Everybody else has to try to guess those descriptors. Yeah. And all of them are labeled right here, so it's not like,
then the numbers
indicated your starting locations, where you had, where your babysitting jobs were, and you had to move around the city
to get to those
those areas. And
because when you got to a house that you're babysitting, finished it off, you got a little phone, a telephone token, and then you could call somebody else to quiz them, ask them a question about it, like in Clue. But you couldn't call anybody who wasn't at
another house.
Now, if somebody was at a house and you were at a payphone,
you could call that house.
God knows kids nowadays even know what a payphone is. You could call somebody at a house, but somebody at a house could not call somebody at a payphone.
Yeah,
so this is rather dated because there's no cell phones.
It is,
but I think if it was dated for now and they had cell phones, the game would go really fast.
Just a little bit. I don't know. It was. We're not keeping it.
No,
Let's put it that way.
let's put it that way. We're not keeping this.
This one is going to hit the sale pile. Hopefully somebody who is more familiar with the IP will find some enjoyment out of it. But for what we're doing, trying to get the kids' portion of that collection down to 20 items or so, this just isn't going to make the cut. Simple as that. So this one is going to hit the sale pile.
Yeah. Okay, now let's get into a little bit better games here. We have Barenpark by Phil Walker Harding. This actually has both expansions in it. So we have the base game and Bad News Bears.
Only one expansion, but yes, Bad News Bears.
Did I say both expansions?
You did.
Okay.
It's all right.
It has the expansion.
It has the expansion in it. This is one of my favorite tile lane games. You build
it's a polyomino game. This is why she likes it. Don't let her lie.
I do.
She loves her polyomino games.
I do. This one has, you're building a park full of various bears. The expansion adds grizzly bears to it, which I'm kind of partial to, having grown up in Alaska, but I really like it. I don't think I need to really take it all out. No. Everybody knows what they look like.
Everybody knows what it looks like.
The neat thing with the expansion is it adds a 3D element.
System.
It adds a tram system where you can build your trams, and these are worth points for everyone you get connected, and the points go down incrementally as you go. So that's what the Bad News Bears adds to it.
It adds more bathrooms.
It does add more bathrooms.
Teddy bear bathrooms.
Yes,
pink and blue ones.
Oops, as I drop one, it adds little teddy bear bathrooms. So it's cute. And it adds more of the big polyominoes for the grizzly bear enclosures. So, yep. And plus you have to make a fifth. You add a fifth
board to your park because you have to have an exit now.
Yes, you add a fifth board that actually gives you an exit. This is still the entrance, but
yeah, because they're all at the bottom.
Yep. Yeah, those are at the bottom. So that is Barenpark. It is in our collection. It will definitely stay in our collection. I would love to get a copy of this for the other room to take places because it is a very nice polyomino game. So, but yeah, that is Barenpark.
So the next one we played is Backgammon. Now we did not play this version of it.
We did not.
We played the suitcase version, which is your dad's old.
This was my dad's old game. Yeah. So this one, I like this one because it comes with the nice chunky pieces that I love. So Backgammon's been around forever. I don't feel like we really need to explain how it plays. It is an abstract strategy game, basically, 2-player. If you've never played it, definitely do so. I think everybody needs to play it at least once.
Don't play her. Because I play with the first time I've ever played Backgammon that I was completely shut out. She had all of her checkers off the board before I had all my checkers in the area where I could start taking them off the board. So I've never been skunked like that before.
I got lucky.
Until now.
I got lucky. So, but anyway, that is Backgammon. This will obviously stay in my collection. Like I said, this was my dad's. We've had this for decades. This one will stay in the other collection. I did have multiple copies. I did get rid of the other copies, but we're going to hold on to this guy though. So that's Backgammon.
Okay, next we have is Battleball. This was our first time actually playing this one as well. I got to hold on to it or it's going to fall open. Battleball is a futuristic football game where you're rolling dice and depending on the the player's base is the color dice you roll. So you have ones that are rolling 20-siders, some that are rolling 6-siders.
And the dice and the bases all match.
They all match colors, so you don't mix them up.
For Milton Bradley, for whenever this came out, it's been around for a while though. I'm not sure how long, how old it is, but these pieces are phenomenal. I'm not going to pull off the board because the board is like 3 puzzle pieces. It's huge. But so say this guy here. You roll a green,
10-sider,
a green 12-sider.
12-sider,
so you roll all the dice matched the bases, which I do like. The team colors are on their shoulder pads, which let me tell you, when I first got this at Goodwill, took me forever to figure out. So, but I mean, these pieces, I mean, look at this monster. Look at him. He's huge. Look at this.
This guy, he has a different type of roll. He rolls 2 6-sided dice and you pick the better of the 2.
You pick whichever one you want, because when it comes to movement, you want high dice. But when it comes to tackling, being tackled,
you want low dice. So he could go up against a red guy who's going to be rolling a 20-sided dice. So now you're going to be rolling your dice together. He gets to roll 2 6-siders and he could roll a 5 and a 1. He says, I'm taking the 1.
Because he's definitely
tackling.
So,
but with the 1, we could not really we weren't sure if that was being played right or not. But with a 1, it says when there is a 1 rolled,
you win the tackle.
It depends on how you read the rules, I think.
But you're critically injured and out of the game.
It said when a person who is tackling rolls a 1, the player tackled is critically injured and out of the seriously injured and out of the game completely.
It was weird the way they put it.
But every time you got tackled, you were injured and you were taken off the field
till the next round,
till the next half,
and
then you came back in the next half, though.
Unless you rolled a 1, in which case you were out of the game.
So, and we were doing a lot. I had one that
we rolled so many freaking ones.
You had one that I needed. What was it? I had been rolling low numbers the whole time. Then it came up. She was going to tackle me. I was like, well, I've been rolling number. And it was one of my red guys. So I had a 20. I was like, I've been rolling low the whole time. And I roll it and I roll a freaking 20.
Yep.
So I was automatically going to get tackled because she was rolling like a 10-sider or something like that.
But
so
you're playing, if I can get my fingers on it, this little bitty football. And you put the football, as you take control of the football, you put the football on the base and then you just keep moving down the field to your opponent's, what is it? 1 yard line into the goal. What is that called? Thank you. The goal line. Jesus Christ. I don't watch football.
Your son is going to be so upset with you if he watches this video.
So anyway, it was interesting. I'm glad we played it. It will definitely stay in the collection because it is definitely a unique game.
At least when you scored a touchdown, you didn't say I scored a basket.
No, I did not say that. I do know.
But then I liked the big tackles they had. What were these called? I keep wanting to say Calamity, but it's not Calamity. These are the damage tokens. Basically, it looked like a pile of wreckage on the field. This game is a lot of luck.
It is a lot of luck.
And it can be very frustrating, as Katie can contest to the beginning of the game. Because I got a little upset when I rolled 6 straight low numbers.
And couldn't move. And here I was almost his 1 yard line.
Yeah, when my red guy is moving in 4 turns, moved maybe 4 spaces.
He might move 6 in 4 turns. But anyway.
You could roll up to 20.
Yeah, so that is Battleball. Before he yells at me for putting this on upside down. That is Battleball. Fun game. Like I said, we're going to hold on to it. It'll stay in the other collection, in the travel collection.
We had 2. We've already sold 1.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't feel like we needed 2. But
okay.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Next. Oh, boy. This is Balloon Lagoon. This is one of those cranium games.
Okay. It's a kid's game.
It is a kid's game. I got to give them that. It is a kid's game. You can see on the back the little areas. It's like set up like a carnival.
The pieces are great.
Yeah.
I got no
Everything's
fault with
3D,
the direction with the
so.
pieces. The main board is 4 puzzle pieces that fit together, and they fit together nicely. Everything else is heavy plastic. Just to kind of show you, I mean, this is one of the components. If I can get it out, this is one of the components. There's the merry-go-round. There's the little lake. There's the.
This is the one that I found that you could actually cheat with. Because you were just doing that, letting it spin. If you did this and look for the piece you wanted, you can let it, and it would. I'm gonna put that back in.
Cheater. You cheated.
Hey.
On a kids game. Okay, I lost this game because I couldn't get the stupid frogs to flip into this thing because they didn't like to flip. But anyway, cute game.
Not staying.
Not staying in the collection, mostly because it just takes up so much room. I thought it was, I did think it was cute, no arguments there, but it just takes up so much room. Why does it say 3 AAA batteries required? What needed batteries? Oh,
The timer.
Oh,
because
yes,
you
you're
push the timer down and you got to do whatever activity you're at until the timer popped up.
That's right. You're right.
So the next one is the Ravensburg version of Back to the Future. This is Dice Through Time.
Yeah.
This is not the Funko one.
No.
I've heard the Funko one's better, but
we haven't played it yet. I
don't
this
mind
one
this
though.
one.
We haven't won it yet.
It's a lot of dice to be rolled.
This is a co-op game, which
it's a dice game,
with,
dice placement game that has a lot of luck in it.
It does have a lot of luck. There are ways to mitigate the dice, which any good dice placement game will have. But okay, so in this one, you are playing, basically you are moving your DeLorean.
Yeah.
Back
You're playing a Marty.
Time. Yeah.
Everybody plays Marty.
Yep. But one of 4 different time eras of Marty, encompassing the 4 movies.
And there's a Biff in
3 movies,
in each era.
Yep, there's a Biff in each era that blocks your actions. The idea is that Biff has gotten a hold of the time machine, a hold of the DeLorean, and has moved various pieces through history. So you need, or through time. So you need to find those pieces by clearing up time variances. What do they call those? There was, I don't remember what they call them.
I don't remember, but
there's different
areas.
Yeah, there's different areas.
Different places in time.
Yeah,
there you go.
There's different places in time that things have happened that you need to clear up and set back on track. And if you do that, then you find one of the pieces that need to be returned to someplace else in time. And if you can get all of those back to their place in time before the timer runs out, then you win the game. We got to 1 card left last time. There was 1 piece we did not get moved back. So it's an interesting game. The components are fine. The Biffs are standees. The DeLoreans are actually plastic cars, which are, I mean, they're fine for what they are. I enjoyed it. The dice are good and chunky. As I grab those, the dice are good and chunky. I like that. Each symbol does something different. You can, as you resolve issues or as you return items to their correct time and place, you get extra tokens, which gives you
the icons,
basically free icons you can use later on. So I like it. I definitely want to try the other dice or the other Back to the Future game that came out at the same time. And I know they're nothing alike. They're compared a lot because they both came out at about the same time. Which
they came out at the same time.
They came out at the same time. Okay. So I think Mark and Jess have that one. So someday we'll have to borrow that and maybe do a comparison of our own for them. But in the meantime, this one will stay. At the moment, it's going to stay in our collection. My God, I want to beat it before we move it into the travel collection and forget it's there. So yeah, so it's staying. That being said, it's probably on a short leash because it is not the type of game we typically play, but I definitely want to try to beat it first. I keep peeling the silly stickers off of it. That's Dice Through Time.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is one that's in the travel collection already. This is Battlesheep.
This one has an interesting story.
A backstory to
It
it.
does have a backstory to it. So,
But let's talk about the game first.
okay, fine. Game first. This one is an area control. I mean, it's basically what it is. Everybody starts with, how many do you start with? Basically the whole stack of your sheep.
You spread it out amongst all the players. And it is a
Well, no,
2 to 4 player.
Everybody starts with their set of colors. So
Right.
the pieces are like these really chunky poker chip type pieces. And everybody, I think, has 16 of these things. And then everybody gets so many of these that they spread out. Depending, I think everybody gets 2 of these that they put out, and they're all connected to make one board. And then you get your all of your poker chip sheep. Everybody starts with their one whole stack somewhere on the edge of the board. And then as the game progresses, you have to take a portion of your stack, not your full stack, or even just one, a portion of your stack, and move them as far in a straight line as you can till you either run into another sheep or you run into the edge of the board.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do that, you leave that stack there. And then the next player goes and does the same thing. The idea is you want to get as many of your pieces out to cover the fields while blocking your opponent from being able to move some of their larger stacks by blocking them in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting area control. It plays in like 5 minutes. I swear it's a quick game. I'm sure it's more like 10, but it's a very fast game. This one, we picked it up, and the only reason we bought it is not our kind of game by any means.
15 minutes.
15 minutes. That's, yeah. Oh,
And
I
that's
see that
slow.
now. We picked this up. We went into the Blue Orange
Booth at Gen
booth
Con.
at Gen Con several years ago because we were looking. Okay. We had been playing a game of New York 1901. 1901?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. New York 1901, a few months prior to Gen Con. We'd gone to run an errand and we come back and one of my little playing pieces is just plain gone. He is no longer on the board anywhere. We have a cat. I'm sure you've all seen my cat by now. Jarvis likes to just take things and hide them. To this day, and this has been a long time, to this day, we still have never found this guy. I don't know what he did with them, but anyway, so we walked into the booth and we're just kind of looking around. Somebody comes up and asks if we can help, if they can help us. And we told him what we were looking for. And he's like, oh yeah, sure, here you go. And he took one right off the display copy of 1901 and handed it to me. Well, how do you not buy a game from the booth after the guy does that for you? So we bought their newest game out, which was this guy. So, and he's cute. I do like him. He's definitely going to stay in the travel collection. He left our collection quite some time ago.
Oh, you talking about the game that you talking about the guy who gave you the little piece.
You knew I was not.
You said he's cute, and you just got done talking about the guy.
Sorry. The game.
I was like, I'm right here.
You're awful.
Anyway,
the
game is cute.
Is cute. It is staying in the collection, in the travel collection. And we'll leave it at that. But Blue Orange Games, if you've never heard of any of their games, check them out. Their component quality is top notch. Every game we've ever gotten of theirs has been absolute top notch quality.
Mm-hmm.
So really like them.
Next on this list is, this has a story behind it too, but we'll talk about the game first. And I tell shorter stories, so it won't take forever.
You know
I don't
what?
have to tell setup stories to tell the story to set up another story. Anyway,
I heard you.
this is Bastion. This is a co-op
Castle
defense game. Yeah.
So you are,
That has little bitty miniatures for the characters.
even though it was kind of a mistake that we got this one, I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
We have not won it yet, again, but isn't that the sign of a good co-op?
But it's pretty fun. I mean,
I
you're
like
trying to
it,
go
no.
around. You're trying these monsters are coming out and they're working on the board, and you're trying to get them to come out. But if they get all the way back, There's no more room for another one to come out, you lose. But if you get to the end of the deck and there's room for that last person to come out, then they all just start hopping all the way over to the gate. And when the last person can't hop other than go over the wall, you lose.
Right.
So you're wanting to clear them out as much as you can.
Yes. So, and there's different ways to battle each one. Each one wants a certain amount of, is it mana? Do they call it mana?
I think it's mana.
Each one of them wants a certain amount of a specific colored mana to defeat them. So you're going around trying to collect that from various places. There are, oh gosh, what are they called? We just played this the other day. You think I remember?
There's spells and all kinds of stuff that you're going to get when you defeat the card.
Right, you get spells when you defeat a monster, because the flip side of the card is the spell that you can use one time. You start the game with 2 artifacts that you can build. Once you build one, you build them by taking out a specific color monster. So for instance, if I have a yellow artifact that allows me to transmute my mana into a different color, great. I can build it as soon as I defeat a yellow monster.
And then there's a separate deck full of all these
right.
Stuff.
As soon as I've built one, I can draw another one. I draw 2 and pick one that I want to build, and then I have to defeat a monster of that color in order to build it. So you've always got 2 in your hand to build, which are again built by taking out specific color monsters. So I find it really interesting because you're traveling around the board trying to pick up this mana in different places, but as you're
picking it up, you're closing it off.
You're closing it, so you have to go someplace else in order to clear them all. It's really interesting the way they do it. Like I said, we have yet to win this. We've come very close, but we have not quite won it. This is another one I definitely want to try to defeat at some point.
We came across this because I thought I was buying Last Bastion off of a marketplace for $10. I was like, oh my God, that's a great deal. I'm going there now and getting it. And I got there, looked at it, I was like, oh, this isn't exactly the game. I didn't want to back down. I don't back down from buys. If I say I'm going to buy it, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
So I went ahead, left her the $10, took the game, and we ended up enjoying the game. It wasn't the game we wanted because we've wanted to try out Last Bastion because it's this reskin of Ghost Stories, and we really like Ghost Stories, but we weren't sure. We didn't want to pay full price for Last Bastion and end up not liking it. Yeah, and we love Ghost Stories.
Right. But that is Bastion. It was a happy accident. Because we really enjoy it, and I don't think we would have even thought to try it had it not come into our possession by accident. So
the next one is Balanx. I don't know. It's Balanx. I'm not going to hold the box up too much because the marbles will go spilling out.
So this one is an abstract game. I really like this one. We don't play it often enough, so it's in the other collection now. This was again another Goodwill find. We've played it a couple times now, and I really like it. But this one has these huge chunky marbles. I love these things. So you've got one player is black, one player is white. The goal on this one, the board
rolls.
The board it shifts. So each player sets their marbles up, and depending on how the marbles are sitting, as it rolls off, everything shifts. So the goal is your one player's here. Nope, that's why it's not sitting right. It's in the wrong place. One player's marbles are all sitting on this corner. The other player's marbles are sitting on this corner, and you have to reverse. The goal is to get them to the other side. And they have to be in the same pattern on the other side of the board. And all you can do is you can jump a marble or you can move sideways. And if you move sideways, you can jump over, or you can just move one spot, or you can move forward by jumping. It's really interesting the way it works because, of course, they're constantly changing positions as each player pulls it toward them to make their turn. So it's just a really neat abstract strategy game. So yeah, it'll stay in the other collection, at least for now. We'll see how often it comes off the shelf. It's a great 2-player game. That is Balanx.
And the last one we got played is Blackout Hong Kong. the Martin Wallace game. So it's
It's
we're gonna
come
put it
apart.
down. Well, it's packed all together
Yeah.
really good. So we will do
There you go. Take the lid
that.
off.
Martin Wallace. This
This-
one is a card selection.
It's a card selection.
Basically, it's kind of card selection action
Yeah,
because the cards that you're selecting,
hard to describe this one. It's gotten a lot of grief for being very dark,
yes, it's all black.
but
It's
it's
the colors you see on this is the colors that's on
Pretty
the
much,
board
yeah.
and everything else. But this one is you start off. It's basically Hong Kong has a power outage,
Yes.
has total blackout, and you're trying to restore the power.
Yeah. So you start with a specific hand of cards, some of
Mhm.
which are already played out in front of you. You get 3 actions per turn, basically.
Mhm.
But you're selecting those actions out of a set of cards in your hand, and everybody starts out with the same deck. But you are, as the game goes, you are collecting more cards. You can bid or hire, recruit. I think it's recruit other people from the market. But in order to actually put them into your hand, you have to have certain resources. Resources are all roll of the dice.
Mhm.
So you roll it. There's 3 colored dice. You roll the dice. Those resources are the ones that you can get that round based on the color of people you're playing. And there's, like I said, there are 3 different color of recruitments in the
I
the
said
game.
Martin Wallace. It's Alexander Pfister.
Nice. All right. Well, that is episode 1 of the Beez, part 1 of the Beez, episode 7. I hope you're enjoying these. We are enjoying playing through our collection. It's been
Mhm.
interesting. We've gotten to play a lot of games that we don't normally pull off the shelf. And we've managed to narrow quite a bit down. Only 2 in this one though, but it is what it is.
Mhm.
So that being said,
We'll see you at the next one.